Right, question 58. Now, f of x equals 1 plus 2 over root 3x minus 5, and the domain is as defined as 7 infinity. Okay. Part A, then find an expression for the inverse function f to the minus 1 of x. So the first thing you do is, of course, write this as y equals 1 plus 2 over root 3x minus 5. The objective is then to get x equals, okay? But before we can do that, we've got a lot of algebra work to do. What I would do is take the 1 over, so it becomes minus 1. So you've got that like that. Okay? So then you've taken that 1 over, now you've just got the x sort of term here on its own now. Obviously it's in terms of a fraction, x on the bottom here in the square root. What you can do now, you can think of taking this up here, okay, and multiplying. Because we're dividing by this square root here, if we take it up, we'd multiply the y minus 1 by this. Okay, and then what we could do is take the y minus 1 down. Now, ultimately, you would just swap them, right? But if you don't see that, I'll do it quite slowly so you can see the steps. Because we're dividing by this root, take it up and times, okay, by the y minus 1. Okay, so you're dividing here, so take it up and multiply, right, just what you've got here. But then, you know, I want to get x on its own, remember, so this y minus 1 times this, so I can take that over, and because we're timesing here, take it over and divide. Okay, and ultimately all I've done is I've swapped these. That's what you can do, right? You've done that straight away. Next thing then, remember you want to get x equals, so the square root, take the square root over, and when you take the square root over you do the opposite and you square, but you've got to square all of it, right? Okay, you've got to square the whole side, you've got to apply the square to everything. Then when you square everything, you know, you could leave it like this, or perhaps what would be better is square each term. So square the top, you get 4. Square the bottom, well, you could leave it in a bracket. Okay, but it looks a bit better, that's all. A lot much better there. Take then that minus 5 over, so become plus 5. Okay, and then the 3 you can take over and divide, yeah? Because it's 3 times x, take it over and divide. Now, it might look a bit messy if you divide all that by 3, so perhaps what you could do is write it as a third of this. Okay, and you're done, right? So then you've got your x equals there. That's it, x equals, so you can define your inverse function then as 1/3 bracket then 4, and of course put that over in terms of x. And that's job done, there's your answer, right? So then part B then, it says write down the domain of f of x, right? The domain of, f to the minus 1 of x. So to get the domain, right, as is asking for here, to get the domain of the inverse function, you need the range of the original function, right? So we need the range of this here. Remember how that works? Because the range of this function will be the domain of the inverse function, right? Vice versa, so to speak. So if we work at the range of this, now we're working on this domain, so the domain is 7 infinity, right? The domain of f is 7 infinity. So let's deal with this 7 first. 7 will go to, if we put 7 into this function here, right, if we work out f of 7, and we can do that because it belongs to it. So we'd have then square root now, 3 times 7 there, 3 times 7 is 21. Okay, and that would equal to square root there of, well, that would be 16. So that would equal 1 plus 2 over 4, which is a half. So that'll be 1.5. Okay, so that's what happens there. And then let's put the extreme value in the other end of the range, so infinity in. So you get, on the bottom then, 3 times infinity take away 5. Well, 3 times infinity is still infinity, take away 5 doesn't make any difference. So you end up with that. Square root of infinity is still infinity, right? Okay, because massive number, square root is still massive number. So you've got 2 over infinity, okay? 2 divided by massive number is 0, okay? So this will lead to 1 plus 2 over massive, so that'll be 0, okay? 2 divided by big number is 0. So this equals 1, alright? So your range then is 1 and 1.5. So, you know, put the lowest value first, okay? Lowest value first is 1, okay? And that came from the infinity, so that's not included. But the 1.5 then is the highest value, and that came from 7, which was included. So that's your range of f. That means then the domain of f to the minus 1 is the same as the range of f, which is 1, 1.5.